Hello, I wanted to bring you into my studio in North London to share with you the joys I get in this room. I explain what my work's about only because what my work is about interests me and it inspires me to keep making more. It excites me to make more. And I look forward to coming in. But I do appreciate that everybody who looks at a piece of artwork sees their own interpretation of what it is that might interest them. But for me, the point of interest is about the hidden worlds that we can't see, unseen realities. And that covers an awful big scope of an area of interest for me. It includes fantasy, cultural beliefs, the unconscious, Jungian interpretations, masks and theatre, anything that is actually depicting something that people consider as part of their belief system, their life's practice, but not necessarily something that behind it all is something that is visible. Like dreams, they're real enough, but you can't see them, only in your mind. And my mind comes up with pictures more than it comes up with anything else. I think stories, readings, films, conversations, they all trigger for me pictures in my mind. I start from various points. Sometimes I start with a vague notion of what I'm interested at the time, but often that will be a shape, a form, a picture. But I'm not quite sure how to scale it up on a surface, on a piece of paper or on a canvas. So I will, as a painter, as my main love, I will start mixing up colour combinations, and I'll put the combinations together in such a way on the canvas that as I'm applying these shapes and blocks, I begin to push around an image that I see. Inevitably, there are faces there. Nearly all my work over the past 40 years has included the figure in some form, always with a narrative, generally with a narrative, even if it's not obvious. But I often use symbols to incorporate into the story. Greek mythology, I've got one of Persephone and the pomegranate, where she is sucked down into the underworld, and she's eating the fruit of the pomegranate, and she is I can't remember the rest of the story now, but the figure is there holding a pomegranate. To anybody who wouldn't know the story, it probably wouldn't be very meaningful, but I find a lot of fascination in these ancient stories, particularly religions, cultures and faith groups are just a plethora of stories that depict pictures in my mind. Masks particularly, I think, have a dual purpose. And lastly, I wanted to just explain that sometimes to the outsider it might see that there's no connection between one series of works than another, but inevitably I can shift. So I might have like 8 or 9 series of works that I'm particularly interested in, from motherland, as I call it, where I've over the years done lots of pictures of mothers and children, particularly inspired by the fact that I am a mother and grandmother. And another series of work is myths and legends, because there's huge amount of work there. Myths and legends, Greek mythology, folk stories, Russian mythology I find fascinating. And the links between some of these mythological stories also are fascinating. You look around the Mediterranean and you can see all those over the centuries, stories have remained the same stories using different names, but the imagery can be passed on in their story. Like flying creatures is another fascinating series that I'm interested in, where the gods and the mythological creatures are all blurred into one. We tend to, since Christianity and our culture, sort of separate flying god creatures as the angels, and we stop there, but ancient mythologies is packed full of them from Egyptian times onwards. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to share some of the series with you in detail another time.